What is up, Logan Blackman Show fans? We are doing another video. This time, we're doing an NFL preview. We did a FIFA World Cup preview. Last time I did this, got the World Cup champion right. I mean, I'm not an expert or anything, but yeah, I'm pretty much an expert at this point. Got the world champions right. Didn't get a lot of the other stuff right, but that doesn't matter. Same with the NFL draft. Don't doubt yourself on these predictions. It's what gets you in trouble, okay? This is coming from a well-known sports radio show host. Well-known. Very well-known.
Okay.
But here we are today. As I said earlier in the intro, we are doing... Well, we're still in the intro technically. But we are doing an NFL preview, and right here in front of me, I got the wheel of predictions. It's not the wheel of predictions. It's the wheel of NFL teams. I've done a playoff predictor thing online. It allows you to go through every single game of an NFL season. So that way, when I do the records, it matches up more than with what I'm thinking. It took me a couple tries to get one that I thought would the one I liked the most out of all of my trials. I did a ton of trials. This is weeks ago. Remember when I tweeted out NFL preview coming soon? Yeah, I was still doing that. Didn't feel comfortable with doing one, and I've done one today. I said I'd release a video today. Yeah, you need to get a video edited and done quick. Okay, so enough chit chat. Here's the wheel predictions. The wheel's gonna spin. It's gonna land on a team. It's gonna tell me the team that I have to talk about, and I'll give a short preview about each team. I got the records from my thing that I did right here. So after I'm done giving the example, I'll talk about it and where I think they'll finish in their division, where I think they'll finish in the playoffs, and what's their record, what's their team look like, and why would you think they go 1-12, 1-15? You gotta have some reason behind it. So this is what we're doing, and I gotta stop rambling because this video is never gonna get done. Okay, wheel spin. All right, who are we getting first? The Tennessee Titans, Music City Miracle. All right, the Tennessee Titans have a very talented quarterback in Marcus Mariota. He hasn't really developed that well in the NFL. They've got rid of coaches. They got a new coach this year, Mike Vrabel, former NFL linebacker. They got new people all around them. They signed Dion Lewis from the New England Patriots. The defense is even better. They drafted Harold Landry and Rashad Evans, Alabama and Boston College, respectively. Not saying that I knew this, but I did predict in my two of my mock drafts. I did have Harold Landry going to the Titans and Rashad Evans going to the Titans. I'm not saying I'm an expert. Yeah, Corey Davis. Don't really know what you got from him yet. He's kind of still finding his feet in the NFL. I think he was the 5th pick in the draft a couple years ago, or last year's draft, I guess. They signed, as I said, Dion Lewis. They got Malcolm Butler from the New England Patriots after that whole Super Bowl debacle. No one knew what happened to Malcolm Butler and why he wasn't playing. His name Kevin Byrad, safety. I don't know if I'm saying that right. I think he led the league in interceptions last year. Again, and they also got Delaney Walker at tight end, which is Mariota's favorite target. 2 solid running backs, Thunder and Lightning, they may want to be called. Taylor Lewan still there, one of the best tackles in the whole NFL. Receiving core, iffy, but yeah, Titans. I think they will go 7-9. Gotcha! But they could go 8-8. They'll hover around 500. They got a new coaching staff, so I think that's what will keep them at bay. They won't go this high yet. They still got some pieces they need to see how they work first before they can get into the categories of the not bigger teams, but like the usually more successful teams. So I think the Titans will go 7-9. Next team on the list. I should have deleted the Titans from my list. The Seattle Seahawks. Seattle Seahawks drafted Rashad Penny in the first round of this draft this past season. The Seahawks did not have a rushing attack at all last year. Russell Wilson led the team in rushing and passing. Well, I'd hope passing since he's a quarterback. Receiving core don't really have a lot of options outside Doug Baldwin. They lost Jimmy Graham to the Packers. Their offensive line still in shambles. Rashad Penny, he might not even play to start the year. They lost Richard Sherman, Cam Chancellor. They lost a bunch of Michael Bennett. They lost a bunch of pieces on defense. So it'll be interesting to see how they cope with that. And depending on whether Earl Thomas is on the team to start the season. We don't know if he will be. He might get traded to the Cowboys. Apparently, that's where he apparently wants to go. I just think the Seahawks are just a little bit of a mess to say. I don't. They're not. It's Russell Wilson's team. Russell Wilson makes that team click. Russell Wilson is the sole reason that team was even an inch of getting to the playoffs last year. In my opinion, if they made the playoffs, I'm giving Russell Wilson the MVP. That was what I said last year. I think the Seahawks will struggle. Again, they will not make the playoffs. They will go 8-8, according to the Logan Blackman predictor. Gotcha! All right, next team on the list. Who will it be? Oh, I wanted to talk about the Browns, but we'll talk about the other team in Ohio. Their little brother. Yeah, because it can kind of be their little brother. The Cincinnati Bengals. I don't really know what to say about the Bengals. They've got decent pieces, but I don't know how they fit together. Okay, so got Andy Dalton, the quarterback. I've said this ever since he got injured and A.J. McCarron went in. I think A.J. McCarron's better now. He's on the Buffalo Bills. We'll see if he starts the season. Right now, it's looking like Nathan Peterman's going to start. But besides, we'll talk about the Bills later. But Andy Dalton's the starting quarterback. No competition. They got Jeff Driscoll there. I can't remember if they signed anybody in the offseason. Joe Mixon, starting running back for the Cincinnati Bengals, with Jeremy Hill going to the New England Patriots. They got Joe Mixon, who will be the number 1 back. Giovanni Bernard will be the number 2 back. He'll be mostly on third downs, be a more pass-catching back, like their older brother in Cleveland with Duke Johnson. They still got A.J. Green. If he can stay healthy, that'll be great. John Ross, still don't know what you have with him. The number 10 pick in the draft 2 years ago. I think it was the number 10 pick. Number 9 pick. And he played 15 offensive snaps last year. He got targeted twice all of last season. That's not great. That's not great at all. Especially if you're a top 10 pick in the NFL draft, you're expected to make an impact right away. You got to. Their defense, they got Carlos Dunlap and Geno Atkins, 2 stud defenders who made the Bills look like an Arena Football League team. And my prediction, I have them 5-11. I don't think they'll be that great. They signed Preston Brown from Buffalo, a linebacker, so he'll partner with Vontaze Burfict. Don't know if Vontaze Burfict will play all the games because he likes to get suspended some point in the middle of the season. They got Cordy Glenn from the Bills to shore up that left side of the offensive line. They traded him for the Bills. Bills moved to number 12 to eventually move to number 7 to draft Josh Allen. And they drafted Billy Price, who could have been a first-round draft pick if it wasn't for, I think it was a groin injury. But good pickup there for the Bengals. But in my other prediction that I had here before I did it a couple minutes ago, I had them going 7-9. I think they'll stay below 500. They won't make the playoffs, and I think this is Marvin Lewis's last year in Cincinnati. At least I think it should be. He's been the coach as long as I've been, a little bit less than I've been alive, and I don't think they won a playoff game. Like, they just need to move on from Marvin Lewis. They need to move on from Andy Dalton and start the whole thing over. Just start it over. 5-11, maybe 7-9, 6-10, somewhere in there. 5-11. That's my prediction. Gotcha! Next team on the list. The Los Angeles Chargers. Okay, let's go right into the Chargers. Okay, the Chargers, they're one of those teams that if they get a lot of hype, they don't do really good. They struggle with the hype. They don't handle the hype well. I literally just got off the phone with my dad about an hour ago saying, don't believe the hype. The Chargers, you cannot believe the hype. They'll go 13-3 one year, and then they'll go 8-8 the next year. It's just what they do. It's kind of like what the Hawkeyes do occasionally. Like when they had Stanley McNutt, Claiborne, all those guys, when they went to the Orange Bowl and beat Georgia Tech, the next year they were playing Missouri in the Insight Bowl. Like, they sometimes you just can't believe the hype. The Chargers, they have talent, obviously. The 2 edge rushers, Bosa and Ingram, arguably the best pass rush duo in the league. I'm not biased. Phillip Rivers is still at quarterback. Love Phillip Rivers. Melvin Gordon's still there. They got Austin Eckler, another good running back. He'll be a third down back. Mike Williams is finally looking like a first-round talent in the preseason. He's looking really good. Keenan Allen, stud. It's Keenan Allen. What are you talking about? The offensive line, I'm still worried about the offensive line. Forrest Lamp has not played a single snap of regular season football. The center, they got Marquise Pouncey from the Dolphins. he'll be the center there. I like Okung at left tackle. Right tackle, I don't like Joe Barksdale. Hunter Henry got hurt. The interior of the D-line's iffy. The linebackers struggled. When Chargers got beat, the teams ran it up the middle. They rammed it down the Chargers' throats. If the Chargers want to do anything this season, they got to solve their interior defense. Their secondary's fine. I love their secondary. I love the edge rushers. The interior of the D-line and the linebackers, that's the iffy part. If the team can figure out how to run against the Chargers, which isn't that hard based off last year, they can kill them. And you can just kill them. Travis Benjamin, you get him to force, he'll make a mental mistake on a punt return. He'll probably give you a safety or something. Kicking game, still don't know about that. The punter's really good, but the kickers, you got Caleb Sturgis and Roberto Ogayo. Don't know who the kicker is, so we'll see how the Chargers do. On my predictor, I've been going 10-6. Gotcha! I don't think they'll go to the Super Bowl, but they should win this division. If they don't, I think that'll be a big problem in LA. Well, now who cares about the Chargers in LA? They don't even sell the 27,000 seat stadium. But moving on, who are we got next? There we go. The Cleveland Browns. Hard knocks. All right, where will this team finish? You can't get worse than 0-16, so they can only move up from here. They literally can't do worse than 0-16.
You will try.
They got rid of Deshaun Kaiser. He's now the backup in Green Bay unless he gets cut tomorrow. I don't know. He might. They traded Brett Hundley to the Seattle Seahawks. Now he's going to back up Russell Wilson. So it makes it look like Kaiser's going to be the main guy, but he could get cut. He's stuttered there.
Today, Junior?
They got a ton of pieces in the offseason. They got a ton of new people. They got rid of Izo Crowell, replaced him with Carlos Hyde. That's an upgrade right there. They drafted Nick Chubb in the second round. They got a great pick in the second round. They got Josh Gordon. He's going to be there for a full season. They got Jarvis Landry from Miami. They got Tyrod Taylor, however you want to pronounce it. You can't get much worse than what Deshaun Kaiser did in his rookie season, so Tyrod is an upgrade. They drafted Baker Mayfield, the reigning Heisman Trophy winner, who's got personality for days and is extremely accurate. Reminds me of Drew Brees in a sense, but a little bit of Brett Favre as well. Well, I think everyone says that. But they got Baker there at quarterback. They got the other number one pick, Myles Garrett. Linebacking core is really underrated. Christian Kirksey, Joe Schobert, and Jamie Collins. Very good linebacking core. No one really talks about their linebackers. They drafted Denzel Ward with the number 4 pick. I thought they'd get Bradley Chubb, but that Denzel Ward makes sense there too. They got TJ Carey from the Raiders. They got EJ Gaines from the Bills. They got Julius Peppers, Derek Kindred. Our offensive line's still weird. The rest of their defensive line's kind of weird. I don't like Carl Nassib. Watching Hard Knocks, he's kind of annoying.
Discipline! Discipline!
But the receiving core is good. David Njoku, he could be a really good tight end this year. He kind of had some ups and ons last season as a rookie, but you had Deshaun Kaiser as your quarterback. Great receiving back in Duke Johnson. You drafted a lineman from Nevada, Corbett, I think is his name. He'll help out on the offensive line. Joe Thomas retired, so you got to fill that hole, obviously. So yeah, they'll improve, obviously, because they can't get worse. But it will take a couple years for them to get exactly to where they want to be. I don't think Hugh Jackson's the right guy. I don't really like Hugh Jackson as a coach. So a lot of people may not like this. I think the Browns will go 4-12.
Gotcha!
Yeah, you can't change the Browns. Browns will always be in their DNA, whether they're got great players or not. They'll be good eventually, but right now it'll take a couple years for them to get really good. So 4-12, I think that's fair. 6-10 at the best, I think. 7-9 maybe. I don't think they'll go above 500. It's still the Browns. People have to remember it's still the Cleveland Browns. All right, moving on to the next team. Who will it be? Seattle Seahawks. We already did them. Just start marking off the teams I already did. Bengals, Browns, Chargers, Seahawks, Titans. The Dallas Cowboys. Oh, man. All right, this is an interesting topic to bring up. The Dallas Cowboys are officially Dak Prescott's team. They got rid of Dez. They signed Allen Hurns from Jacksonville. Very good wide receiver. But they don't have a designated number 1. Jason Witten's gone as well. They still have Zeke. He'll be there the entire season. The offensive line's still good. maybe needs some improvements at the guard. There's some, I can't remember, Zach was telling me about it. Zach Tracy, if you're watching this. Don't remember who they got at tight end to replace Witten. I think it's Rico Gathers. I don't remember. Defense is good. DeMarcus Lawrence, top 5 rusher in the league. They got Leighton Vander Esch in the first round of the draft. Linebacker Sean Lee, you never know if he's going to stay healthy. One of the best if he is healthy. But yeah, just because I don't know, I don't really know about, I think they'll be, I don't think they'll be successful this year. 7-9. That's why I'm going to keep it short.
Gotcha!
I don't really know a ton about the Dallas Cowboys this year. So 7-9, that's fair. Who will be next? The New York Jets. We have ourselves a new QB, Sam Darnold, the first rookie quarterback that is guaranteed to start week 1. Sam Darnold, the only rookie out of all the rookies that is guaranteed to start, out of the quarterbacks. They traded Teddy to New Orleans. I didn't really see New Orleans being the team he traded for, but what better quarterback to learn under than Drew Brees for Teddy Bridgewater? I thought he'd go to Jacksonville, personally. But yeah, New York Jets starting Sam Darnold. I don't really love the Jets. I don't really like all the weapons they have. Robbie Anderson's pretty decent. Jeremy Curse from the Seahawks. Jermaine Curse from the Seahawks is pretty good. Terrell Pryor, they signed him in the offseason from Washington. Don't remember who they have at tight end, but they lost Austin Safarian Jenkins. He's in Jacksonville now. Not in love with their offensive line. Their defense, they got some decent parts on defense. Jamal Adams, leader of the defense, pretty much. I don't know. Sam Darnold's going to get hit a lot. Let's just see how he handles it, and that'll be dependent on how the Jets do this season. So I have the Jets going 6-10.
Gotcha!
I think that's a fair result for the New York Jets. Better than last season, and they weren't even favored in a single game last season. The Oakland Raiders. The Raiders. No one really knows what's going on there. John Gruden, 10 years off the NFL, came back as the new coach of the Raiders. Khalil Mack, top 3 pass rusher in the NFL, is not playing or practicing. He's not doing anything. He doesn't want to be there. Derek Carr's still there. Marshawn Lynch is still there. They got Doug Martin from Tampa Bay. I don't know how that's going to work out. Michael Crabtree left. He is in where's Michael? He's in Baltimore. They got Jordy Nelson from the Packers breaking up that little thumbs up fist bump thing him and Rodgers had. But yeah, you got Amari Cooper and Jordy Nelson there on offense at the wide receiver spots. Derek Carr, very good quarterback, he's just stuck in a bad situation right now. Really weird spot to be in is if you're a Raider or Raiders fan, whatever. Moving to Las Vegas in a year or two. See how that move turns out. What else could be said about the Raiders? Other than Khalil Mack, I don't really know anything about their defense. Their defense kind of iffy. They drafted who they draft? Colton Miller, offensive tackle. So he'll help out with protecting Carr, which is what you need. If the Raiders are gonna be successful, Derek Carr has to have 2 feet and he has to be mentally sound to play. Because if he's not, then they're in trouble. Connor Cook is not capable enough to handle an NFL franchise. Don't like that guy. But yeah, moving on. The Raiders, why did I do that? Raiders are going 5-11. Yeah, a little disappointing year.
Gotcha!
Tampa Bay Buccaneers. In my opinion, this team's going to be the worst team in the NFL this year. Just my humble opinion. And they got some weapons, too. They don't have a quarterback because Jameis Winston did whatever he did and got himself suspended. So Ryan Fitzpatrick's the starter quarterback right now. I got an update an hour or two ago saying Jameis Winston might not even guaranteed the starting job when he comes back. What does that say? They got Ronald Jones from USC. He's averaging 0.8 yards per carry. Or he has 0.8 yards in the preseason. I can't remember. It was some ridiculous number. That's their starting running back. Him and Charles Sims. That light sucks. They got Mike Evans and Deshaun Jackson as the wide receivers. That's about it. They got Gerald McCoy. They drafted Vita Vea from Washington. That was a decent draft pick. Their defense is awful. Their defense like last in every single statistical category in the league last year, or at least one of the top 5 worst defenses in the league. Yeah, the Bucks are not going to be good this year. 3-13.
Gotcha!
They might go 4-12. That might be their 5-11 might be their max, but they will be one of the, if not the worst NFL team this year. That's my seal of approval. That's official. Logan Blackman show confirms it. Mark it off on the thing. What's this moving? Seattle Seahawks already did them.
Welcome to the Salty Spittoon. How tough are you?
I should be deleting these as I go.
Yes, so?
Oh, but I'm not.
Right this way. Sorry to keep you waiting.
Atlanta Falcons. Huh. Heard a lot of opinions about the Atlanta Falcons in my lifetime with my uncle being a Falcons fan. And then Donovan, if you're watching this, being a Falcons fan. I've heard a lot of opinions about the Atlanta Falcons. Made a lot of fun with the Atlanta Falcons. But, yeah. Steve Sarkisian, second year as the offensive coordinator. This will be interesting. They drafted Calvin Ridley in the first round. Great draft pick. Probably the best receiver in the draft, but just no one really was desperate for a wide receiver. So he fell to the Falcons. I think I had him drafting Taven Bryan from Florida, D tackle. Falcons, offense is looking solid. Matt Ryan's still there. Freeman's still there. Coleman's still there. Julio Jones is still there. Mohamed Sanu, Calvin Ridley. Yeah, their offense is going to be on fire this year. Look for them to be in the Super Bowl again. I have my predictions about who I got in the Super Bowl coming up. I'll talk about that at the end of the show. I have the Falcons going, 12-4.
Gotcha!
The Falcons, their offense should be really scary this year. Ooh, you got the hiccups. Who's next on the wheel of death? The Baltimore Ravens. Okay. Drafted Lamar Jackson in the first round, the 32nd pick in the first round of the draft. I don't know why I changed it in my mock draft. I had him going 32nd like multiple times, but I changed it and had him going 17th in the Chargers. The Chargers weren't even going to draft a quarterback, but I just had a thought that he was going to do it. Okay, whatever. But yeah, Lamar Jackson, he's basically learning under RG3. Joe Flacco said pretty much he's not teaching him anything. Lamar Jackson's the future, but right now, Joe Flacco is it. And Joe Flacco looks motivated. Joe Flacco apparently looks really good in camp. He's had a really good preseason from what I've heard. I haven't watched a single snap of Ravens preseason that hasn't involved Lamar Jackson. I've literally watched the Hall of Fame game he was in and the Colts-Ravens preseason game that Lamar Jackson was in. Yeah, Ravens returning a really good defense from last year. They drafted Hayden Hurst, tight end from South Carolina. He's like 27 years old or something. He's old. But yeah, that'll be a good safety net for Joe Flacco. They got a whole new receiving corps. The receiving corps is completely revamped. They got Willie Snead from the Saints, Van, if you're watching this. Michael Crabtree, as I said earlier, came from the Raiders. And they got John Brown Albert Wilson. John Brown or Albert Wilson, I can't remember. But they got one of those guys. I don't remember. Marshall Yanda's healthy, one of the best guards in the league from Iowa, coincidentally. Their defense, they led the league in takeaways. They had 22 interceptions. Eric Weddle's still there. Eric Weddle, I think, he was in the top 5 interceptions. Jimmy Smith's going to be suspended for the first 4 games. But they still got Marlon Humphrey, and they got Brandon Carr. They can hopefully fill the gap there. They got top 3 best kicker in the NFL, and Justin Tucker. Deadly accurate, depending on who you ask. He might be the best kicker in the NFL. But a motivated Joe Flacco, I think, looks good for Baltimore. I think they're starting to look, I don't know, they could be like their Super Bowl run. They weren't supposed to win the Super Bowl when they did, and they did it. They weren't supposed to. And I have the Ravens going 9-7.
Gotcha!
So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that goes this season. I'm kind of off on when I'm telling you when my predictions are. I already did the Jets. I should be deleting these, but I'm just not.
We've got a badass over here.
Was it the Broncos? The Denver Broncos. John Elway has got himself he solved his quarterback problem, at least for right now. I always heard the saying, if you have 3 quarterbacks, you have none, and they had none last year. They Trevor Siemian, Paxton Lynch, and Brock Osweiler. All 3 of those guys aren't going to be on the team this year. Paxton Lynch is going to get cut. Osweiler's the backup on the Dolphins, and Simeon's a backup on the Vikings. So those 3 quarterbacks are out, obviously. Chad Kelly beat out the last pick in the draft a couple years ago is beating out a former first-round draft pick for the backup spot. But they signed Case Keenum from Minnesota, a career year, easily the best year of his career. My freshman year at Penn, I bashed Case Keenum when he was on the Rams. I thought he was horrible. And then he had an amazing season last year thanks to Pat Schumer and the good wide receiving core and lack of injuries and stuff like that. To the offensive line, the quarterback injuries kind of helped him out with Bradford and Teddy getting hurt. That kind of helped out. But yeah, Case, they got Demaryius Thomas at wide receiver. That's about it. Emmanuel Sanders, I think, still there. I don't really follow the Broncos. I kind of just, after the Chargers shut them out 20-0 or something like that, I've not really been paying attention to Denver. Their defense is still good. They drafted Bradley Chubb. They got a steal with the number 5 pick in Bradley Chubb. They even thought he was going to the Browns. They had a trade lined up with the Bills. The Bills were actually going to trade up to 5 instead of 7, but the Browns drafted Ward, so it shocked everybody. So the Broncos were like, trades off. So Bills eventually got a trade, which actually turned into 2 draft picks because they would have had to trade the 12 and 22 to get up to 5. So it's a good luck there, I guess, for Buffalo and Denver. They still got Von Miller. They lost Aqib Talib to the Rams in a weird trade. I think it was like a 3rd or 5th round draft pick or something. Him and Marcus Peters were traded for weird draft picks. Roby is there. He'll fill in the spot at corner. But yeah, they'll improve from last year. I don't really remember their record from last year. But I have them going 6-10.
Gotcha!
I think that's fair. I don't know if Case Keenum can keep up what he did last year, then more power to him. Congratulations, Case. But yeah, 6-10 for right now. Who will be next on the Logan Blackman Wheel of Death? The 49ers, the San Francisco 49ers. Jimmy Garoppolo, one of the most expensive players in the NFL. Yeah, Jimmy Garoppolo went 5-0. He's undefeated in his NFL career. He went 5-0 as a starter for the 49ers. They got Marquise Goodwin there. I think they signed someone else too, but I can't remember who they got at wide receiver. I don't remember, but they got Solomon Thomas and they got the Oregon boys, Eric Armstead and DeForest Buckner as DNs there. 2 talented DNs, 2 massive human beings. Don't know what's going on with Reuben Foster. That situation has to get figured out. They got Jerick McKinnon from the Minnesota Vikings. He'll be the featured back there. It'll be a new role for him, being like a splitting up in the platoon system like he did in Minnesota before Dalvin Cook got injured. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what the 49ers do. I don't want to buy into the hype right now, but I think I'm going to for the sake of this video. I have them going 9-7.
Gotcha!
I don't have them making the playoffs, but 9-7. But the NFC's so good that it's sad, but yeah, they're not going to make the playoffs. But they'll go 9-7. They'll have a good season. Next team on the list, the Pittsburgh Steelers. This is an interesting team right here. The Pittsburgh Steelers have the most talented offense in the league. I don't care who you ask. They got a great quarterback. They got a top 3 rusher in the NFL in Le'Veon Bell. They got the number 1 or 2 best receiver in the NFL, depending on if you're asking Falcons fans or not. In Antonio Brown, they got Juju Smith-Schuster from USC. He had a really good rookie season last year. They got a really good offensive line. They got a good offensive line. They got an insanely good offense. They don't really have any holes on offense. They got Mason Rudolph. They drafted James Washington in the 2nd round. And they drafted his quarterback. Whenever Big Ben decides to retire, which could be next year, it could be 5 years from now, depending on how he's feeling, Mason Rudolph to James Washington, just like they did at Okie State. Just touchdowns for days. But yeah, they drafted Tremaine Edmonds' younger brother. Terrell Edmonds, that's his name. I couldn't remember his name. With their 1st round pick, my resident Steelers expert, Caleb Farnham, said Justin Reed was the pick that he wanted. And a lot of people were surprised when Terrell Edmonds' name came up in the 1st round. People were expecting him to go later. But yeah, the Pittsburgh Steelers, man, I think this is their year. I'm not going to say any more than that. I have them going 12-4, though. I think this is their year.
Gotcha!
New team. Who's it going to be? That's all I'm going to say about the Steelers. We have finished the AFC North. I don't know if that's their division title. I don't really know. The Indianapolis Colts. Number one thing you want to hear if you're a Colts fan, Andrew Luck is back and playing football. He can actually throw. Wow, that's awesome for Andrew Luck. That's awesome for the Colts in general. They do so much better when he's playing. But how long will he play this year? That's the question. We don't know. I think they went 13-3. 3-13 last year with Jacoby Brissett starting. They don't have a running game. Marlon Mack is their starting running back. They got rid of Frank Gore. He's on now the backup to Kenyon Drake on Miami. They have T.Y. Hilton, who's a really good, underrated receiver. They drafted Quentin Nelson with the 6th pick in the draft. Their defense, still don't really like their defense. It's improved, but I don't like their defense at all. I know people are like, oh, Andrew Luck's back. That means they're going to make the playoffs, go 11-5, because the 3 years he was healthy, they went 11-5 or something like that. Yeah, they won't go 11-5 this year. They will go 9. I'm being nice. They'll go 7-9.
Gotcha!
I don't know if Andrew Luck will play the entire year. I bet he gets injured. I feel like he'll get injured because that's just what Andrew Luck does. He'll get hurt some point in the season. But yeah, 7-9, last place in the division. Remember when I said the Titans thing? Yeah, that's the team that's below them. The Arizona Cardinals, another team that is battling for the worst team in the NFL. And they got some good players, too. They got David Johnson, Larry Fitzgerald. That's about it. Their offensive line is garbage. They got an injury-prone quarterback in Sam Bradford. Who could, to be fair, if he stays healthy, he'll probably keep Rosen on the bench the entire year. But if he gets injured, Rosen goes in, he's not giving the starting job back. But yeah, they got Patrick Peterson on defense. They lost Tyrann Mathieu to the Texans. Yeah, they're going to be bad. they're going to be bad. 4-12, I have them at. David Johnson, if he stays healthy, that doesn't matter. He's a top 5 running back in the league, but he can't save this. 4-12, their offensive line is garbage. If you watch the Chargers-Cardinals games, Josh Rosen got murdered. He did not look at his first preseason game. The next team, already did the Raiders. Already did the Seahawks or 49ers. I did either one, whatever. The Miami Dolphins. Dan frickin' Marino. Where is the Dolphins at? Speaking of quarterbacks, Ryan Tannehill's back. He's back from his ACL injury. No more Jay Cutler. No more Smoking Jay. Good for the Dolphins. I can't remember their coach's name. I can't remember. I think it's Adam Gase, but I don't know. That might be wrong. I really don't know, so I'm not gonna. I might put that in, but I might know. They got Kenyon Drake. They traded away Jay Ajayi last year. Obviously, if you watch football, you know that. Jarvis Landry left. He's now with the Browns. They got Kenny Stills at wide receiver. That's about it. I don't really know what else they got. I don't know if their offensive line is good. I know Ryan Tannehill's coming off an ACL injury. He had one really good season in the NFL. You got Kenyon Drake, who's a very talented running back. Their defense, Ndamukong Suh's gone. They drafted Minkah Fitzpatrick, which was a good draft pick for the Dolphins. Yeah, I'm not feeling too great about this season if you're a Miami fan. But I'd be nice to you. I said 6-10.
Gotcha!
I'm being nice with a lot of these. I could have done a lot worse, but 6-10 for Miami. 5-11 maybe. I don't think they'll go over 7 wins this season. I already did the Chargers. Already did the entire AFC North. Who will it be? I should really delete teams because I'm going through the same teams over and over again now. Okay, yeah. We don't need to worry about getting to teams that we've already done before. Chicago Bears. This is the team that a lot of people expect to improve this year.
The Chicago Bears got one of the best defensive players in the NFL by trading for Khalil Mack from the Oakland Raiders. The Bears now have a solid defense with Mack Floyd, Trevathan, Amos, etc. Mitchell Trubisky is in his second year and the Bears added weapons like Allen Robinson and Taylor Gabriel to help improve on his 7 touchdowns passes last season. Jordan Howard and Tariq Cohen will take some pressure off as well as Howard has established himself as a top 10 running back. The Bears are defiantly improved from last season and they can finish anywhere from 5-11 to 8-8. They need some time to gel under new coach Matt Nagy before they become a power again. So I will say the Bears will go 7-9. Ka-chow!
The New Orleans Saints. Where are the Saints at? The victims of the Minnesota Miracle. The New Orleans Saints are an interesting team because they're pretty good. They got Drew Brees at quarterback, who you think is going to the downside of his career, but he's not yet anyways. They got Alvin Kamara and Mark Ingram at running back. A very good running back pair right there. Michael Thomas, a really good wide receiver. Their defense is still good. It's better than what it used to be. I remember when their defense was a joke. And they got Marshawn Lattimore, one of the best young corners in the league, won Defensive Rookie of the Year, I believe, last year. Yeah, Saints will be interesting again this year. Mark Ingram suspended for the first 4 games. See how Alvin Kamara handles being the featured back here. But yeah, I've been going 11-5.
Gotcha!
They are 11-5, and they're the 6th seed. What's next on our list? The Carolina Panthers. Daniel Nussbaum. What up, my dude? The Carolina Panthers never had back-to-back winning seasons. I don't know if they had a winning season last year because I don't care about the Carolina Panthers. The Panthers, I'm not a huge fan of Cam Newton, never have been. They don't really have a lot of weapons for them either. They got Christian McCaffrey, he'll be the featured back with Jonathan Stewart going to the Giants. He'll back up Saquon Barkley. Devin Funchess is still there. Greg Olson's still there. Their offensive line isn't great. Need to protect Cam Andrew Noel. The guard went to Jacksonville. He'll be protecting Bortles. Yeah, Luke Kuechly's there, but Cam Newton doesn't really have a lot of weapons. So yeah, I think that they drafted a wide receiver from Maryland, DJ Moore. I think they drafted DJ Moore. So he'll hopefully be a good addition for the Carolina Panthers. But yeah, I have the Panthers going 7-9.
Gotcha!
I think that's a fair record for the Carolina Panthers this season. The Minnesota Vikings, the most biased fans in the NFL. Minnesota Vikings, they made it to the NFC Championship game and got smashed by the Eagles, who won the Super Bowl. Vikings made some improvements the offseason. They actually got a quarterback. They got Kirk Cousins from Washington. Got rid of their quarterback carousel that they had with 3 quarterbacks, Case, Teddy, and Sam Bradford, Sammy Sleeves. They got good wide receivers in Stephon Diggs and Adam Thielen. I really like Adam Thielen because I like his story. They got a good tight end in Kyle Rudolph. They got a good defense. It was Xavier Rhodes. Crap, who's their D end with the lisp? Crap, I can't remember his name. Well, that's weird. They got, I think Brian Robson's still there. I don't know how I remember him. They got Trey Waynes there. That's great. And they drafted Mike Hughes in the first round this past draft. So that'll be a good draft. That's a good draft pick because they needed help at corner. But yeah, I have the Vikings going 11-5.
Gotcha!
Again, the NFC's so good. I have them as the 5th seed in the playoffs. That's scary how good the NFC is compared to the AFC. But yeah, Minnesota Vikings 11-5. I think that's a fair record. Who is next on the list? The Kansas City Chiefs. Some of the most annoying fans in the NFL. We're just taking shots at everybody right now. Okay, Kansas City Chiefs, new quarterback, Patrick Mahomes. According to some of the Chiefs people, they think he's the greatest quarterback of all time. That's what I've read. They actually said that. I'll try and find an article later to put in the video. But Patrick Mahomes, new quarterback. That'll be fun to watch with him and Tyreek Hill launching 80-yard bombs. Travis Kelce, still their top 3 tight end in the NFL. Great tight end for the Chiefs. Tyreek Hill, one of the fastest players in the NFL. They signed Sammy Watkins from the Rams, cut off his dreads. Let's hope that means he won't get any foot injuries this year. Kareem Hunt is still there, really talented running back. They lost some people on defense. They lost Tom Holly. I'm going to feel stupid if that happened like 2 years ago. Marcus Peters got traded to the St. Louis Rams. Wow. The Los Angeles Rams for a 3rd-round draft pick. And they got Fuller with the Alex Smith trade when they traded Alex Smith to Washington. or Washington, as my grandparents say. Yeah, Kansas City, they'll be decent. I don't think they'll make the playoffs. I have them 9 and. What do I have them at? Where's the Chiefs? I've been at 9 and 7, but they're missing the playoffs.
Gotcha!
Because of the Baltimore Ravens. They won't choke this year, and they'll actually make the playoffs. I already did the Bears. Now I'm gonna get lazy and not do it again. Washington Redskins. We went to the Chiefs. Now we're on the Redskins. Got quarterbacks from both teams. Alex Smith, new quarterback at Washington, got traded there from the Kansas City Chiefs once Kirk Cousins left for Minnesota. Actually, I think he went there before Kirk Cousins got traded to Minnesota. He stole the number 11 jersey from Terrell Pryor. How evil of him to do that. But yeah, they got Josh Norman. Never really been a fan of Josh Norman. I think he's overrated. Don't really have a lot of weapons for Alex Smith. The running back game, they signed Adrian Peterson. He's old. Samaje Perine, he's injured, I think, or suspended. Chris Thompson, he's more of a third down back, receiving back. Don't really know any of their wide receivers, to be honest. I think they got Josh Doxson. That might be it. I really don't know anybody on the receiving core. But I don't think they're going to be that great this year. I say 5-11.
Gotcha!
That might be harsh, but 5-11 for the Redskins. Who do we got next? The Los Angeles Rams. The Rams signed pretty much everybody in the league last season, or this past offseason. They signed Ndamukong Suh from the Dolphins. They just signed Aaron Donald to a massive deal. They signed Todd Gurley to a massive deal because they're all basing it off Jared Goff's rookie contract. Traded for Marcus Peters and Aqib Talib, and they got Sam Shields back out of getting off his couch. I don't know what he was doing. Yeah, they traded for Brandon Cooks from the Patriots out of nowhere. They lost Sammy Watkins to the Chiefs, obviously, but he wasn't going to come. Robert Woods was awesome, or not awesome. He was good. Cooper Kupp still there. He's Jared Goff's favorite target. Yeah, I would be shocked. They have the best punter kicker duo in the league. Yeah, I cannot see them not winning the NFC. Or being the best team. I don't have them winning. I don't think they're going to the Super Bowl. I think they'll be one of those weird young teams that is really talented but won't go to the Super Bowl. Yeah, I have them going 13-3.
Gotcha!
I think that's a fair assessment. I hate this light. The Philadelphia Eagles. Since we're talking about Goff, we'll talk about Wentz. Carson Wentz is coming off an ACL injury, and Nick Foles has not looked good since winning the Super Bowl. I don't like basing things off preseason, but he has not looked good at all. Doug Gottlieb recently rated him as the worst starting quarterback in the NFL. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see when Carson Wentz comes back. He may be ready to play week 1. He may not be. They played the Falcons week 1. That'll be a really interesting game if Carson Wentz is healthy or not. They got Alshon Jeffrey. I think he's injured for a little bit. I think they got Torrey Smith. Oh no, he was on there last year. He's on the Panthers. I forgot about that. They got Nelson Aguilar still. They got top 5 tight end Zach Ertz. They got a really good defense. They strengthened it with the Haloti Ngata, and they got Michael Bennett from Seattle. So they're the Super Bowl champions for a reason. Underrated was stupid because they had a lot of talent on that roster. I don't know why they were never favored in a playoff game. They had, just because Nick Foles was the quarterback, they had a lot of talent. LeGarrette Blount, he went to Detroit. They got Jay Ajayi still there. He'll be the featured back unless they got Darren Sproles there. They got Smallwoods there, and Wisconsin running back Clement, he's there too. So they got a decent running back core. They got a really good tight end, really good offensive line. They got good defense. The Eagles will be right back to where they finished last year, but they will be 11-5 this season.
Gotcha!
All right, we have got a couple more teams to go. And I'm getting lazy again. We got the Texans, Jaguars, Packers, and Lions. And there we go. We got the Houston Texans, Deshaun Watson. I like starting these things with a quarterback since I used to play quarterback. Deshaun Watson tore his ACL, threw 19 touchdowns in 7 games. Threw for 1,699 yards. And I only know that because I looked it up before, because I was going to do something different. But, yeah, I just remember that. Deshaun Watson, if he stays healthy the entire season, they're scary. Same thing could be said for J.J. Watt. That defense with J.J. Watt, Jadeveon Clowney, and they got Tyrann Mathieu from Arizona, that's a pretty scary defense, especially if the offense is clicking with DeAndre Hopkins. They actually got a good quarterback. And Deshaun Watson, Will Fuller, a wide receiver there. He'll be a deep threat for them. If they can get everything going, they got Lamar Miller too. What was their other one? The Texas quarterback, Devontae Foreman or something like that. If you're a real listener to the Logan Blackman show, you know he was one of my Heisman finalists a couple of years ago because he was second in the nation in rushing yards in college, but never mind. But yeah, that team could be really good. Just depending on if their team stays healthy and based off of, because I don't know if their team's going to be healthy. I have them going 10-6 this year.
Gotcha!
It could be better. It could really be better, but I don't have them winning their division quite yet because of them losing. They might get injured. Buffalo Bills. I forgot about the Bills. I didn't realize I didn't have them crossed off. The Bills are a weird situation. They made the playoffs last year. A lot of people base it off of because of Tyrod Taylor. The Bills made the playoffs because the Chargers didn't have a kicker, and the Ravens choked against the Bengals. That is why the Bills made the playoffs, not because of Tyrod Taylor. I like Tyrod Taylor, but it wasn't because of him, so I'd get tired of people saying that. The Chargers lost a couple games in the start of the season because of missed field goals. They started 0-4. The Ravens, all they had to do was not allow a deep ball to Tyler Boyd, and they would have been in the playoffs. It wasn't because some Tyrod brought a group of bums to the playoffs. It's because other teams around them didn't do good. But I digress. The Bills drafted Josh Allen with the 7th pick in the draft. Interested to see how he develops. Nathan Peterman looks to be the starter right now. He's looked really good in preseason. I think he has over an 80% completion percentage in preseason. A.J. McCarron was brought in supposedly to be the starter, but he has not looked as good as Peterman in the preseason. The offensive line's in shambles. Eric Wood, starting center, and Richie Incognito, starting left guard, both retired this past season, pretty much out of nowhere. Eric Wood had an injury, look at his neck, and he retired. No one saw that coming. And then Richie Incognito, he retired, and now he's going mental. He's like doing stupid stuff again. The receiving core, they traded for Corey Coleman for a 7th round draft pick for him from the Browns. Still got LaShawn McCoy. That's really their only bright spot on offense. The rest of the offense, you just don't know. You don't know a lot about their starting offense right now. But we do know Josh Allen is tall. The defense is decent. The corner opposite of Tre'Davious White is scary. Vontae Davis got destroyed by John Ross on the very first play the Bengals had in the preseason game. So now they got an open corner battle with Phillip Gaines from Kansas City and Vontae Davis. Vontae Davis is old. It's kind of bad. But yeah, the Bills drafted Tremaine Edmonds, youngest player in the NFL with the 16th pick in the draft. He'll be starting at middle linebacker. It's just the Bills are just a big question mark. No one really knows what they're going to do. They don't know the pieces they have. It's a lot of potential. Like Josh Allen, don't know what he's going to be. He looked decent at times. He looked really good at times in preseason. He looked overwhelmed at times in preseason. Look at the Bengals game. He got sacked 5 times. He started that game and he did not look great. He got pressured the entire game. But yeah, I have the Bills going 5-11. I don't think they won't make the playoffs. I think that's obvious.
Gotcha!
But yeah, Buffalo Bills 5-11. I think maybe they'll do better. I don't know. Their schedule is extremely hard in the first 8 games of the season. It's extremely hard. They start off with the Ravens at Baltimore, the Chargers. Last time they did that, Peterman threw 5 interceptions, and since he's lined to start, maybe great. The Vikings and the Packers. That's their first 4 games. I don't know if it's the Packers. Yeah, it's the Packers. That's their first 4 games of the season. That's 0-4. And then they play the Titans, who were a playoff team last year. Then they play, I think, the Colts. They have Andrew Luck back. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes. But the Bills are just a big question mark. 5-11 there. We have 2 teams left. Will we get to them? We have more because I can't see where I've checked off. The New York Football Giants drafting Saquon Barkley in the first round of the NFL draft this past year with the 2nd overall pick. Odell Beckham's back and healthy. Who else do they have on the offense? Evan Ingram, really good rookie, really good young tight end. Eli Manning is 37 years old. They drafted Kyle Lualeta. I think that's how you say his name, from Richmond. They still have what was his name? Davis. Davis Webb. They're at quarterback as well, so they have a quarterback battle for the backup spot. They got Pat Schumer, the old coordinator from the Minnesota Vikings, as their new head coach. Very good offensive coordinator. Be interesting to see how he develops as a head coach. They got Jonathan Stewart, as I said earlier, from the Panthers. Their defense, Damon Snacks Harrison. Their defense was a top 5 defense a couple seasons ago before last year, but they just fell apart last year. So it'll be interesting how the Giants do this year. I have them going 9-7.
Gotcha!
And I think if Odell Beckham stays healthy, that offense, and Saquon Barkley stays good, then that offense will be really good. Speaking of the Giants and Brandon Marshall, I forgot he was on the Seahawks. The New England Patriots. Man, I really cannot see where I check things off. Okay, their roster isn't great. They don't have a number 1 receiver. Julian Edelman suspended for the first 4 games. Gronk is there still, but that's literally really their only wide receiver. They got Chris Hogan. I think that's it. They lost Dion Lewis to the Tennessee Titans. Jeremy Hill's coming over from Cincinnati. They got Rex Burkhead as running back. James White's still there. Their defense, they still got Stephon Gilmore at corner. I really don't follow the Patriots that often. But, yeah, I don't really know. But their roster is not great. They got Brady and Belichick, so they're going to win the division. Probably go to the AFC Championship game or the Super Bowl. But I have them going 10-6.
Gotcha!
That's probably harsh. But, yeah, 10-6. A little harsh there, but we'll see how it goes. Nope, not Chicago Bears. Already did them. We need the Packers and Lions. Okay, you know what? Bills, Patriots, Texans, Jaguars, Packers, Lions. Who will be this team that goes first? It'll be the Detroit Lions. The Detroit Lions, they drafted, what was his name? Kerryon Johnson, running back from Auburn. Good running back in college, really good running back. He'll probably be the number 1 back, share it with LeGarrette Blount. They got Theo Riddick still there. At least I think they do. They got Kenny Galladay, really good young receiver. Not really, he's good, young wide receiver. Golden Tate's there, good wide receiver. They cut Eric Ebron, I think he's on the Colts now. They still got Matthew Stafford. Their defense, Darius Slay's there, top 5 corner, easily. So they got a good cornerback, but that's really all I know about their defense. The Lions, they're the Lions. They're like one of the losingest franchises in NFL history. That's why Calvin Johnson and Barry Sanders retired in their primes, because they didn't want to play for this franchise because they were never going to win. I have the Lions going 8-8 this year.
Gotcha!
A lot of people have them going like 10-6 or 9-7, but let's go. And why did I spin the wheel again? Because we got the Green Bay Packers, the last team on my list. The Green Bay Packers, Aaron Rodgers is healthy. That's all you need to know. That changes the whole dynamic of the NFL. They're now the richest player in the NFL, Aaron Rodgers. Yeah, Aaron Rodgers back. I don't really need to say a lot. They got Jimmy Graham. They got Devontae Adams still there. That's all I need to say. Aaron Rodgers is back. 12-4. Packers, I have them winning the division.
Gotcha!
And then what else do I have? Let's go through my playoff prediction. Do I take a screenshot of the playoff predictions?